Hey friends, welcome back to the Special Kind of Motherhood podcast. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week. I want to talk with you about how you can save money while gardening. I know, especially as you're getting started gardening, it can feel like it's very expensive. It can be a lot of upfront cost, and you may not have the budget for that. That may be something that is preventing you from getting started with gardening. And if that is the case, then today I have 6 different tips I want to share with you on ways you can save money while gardening. So let's go ahead and get started. Hi friend, do you dream of having a garden but you don't know where to start? Do you want to switch to more natural products but feel overwhelmed by all the options? Do you believe that a holistic lifestyle would help your special needs kiddo but you're daunted by all the information out there? Welcome to the Special Kind of Motherhood podcast, where you will learn how to work towards your dream for homesteading, gardening, and holistic living in small, simple steps that won't overwhelm you. Hi, I'm Ashley. I'm a wife, Jesus follower, and mom to some amazing kids. As some of my kids began experiencing health struggles and developmental delays, I decided it was time to switch to a holistic lifestyle. I quickly became stressed out and burnt out, feeling like I needed to change everything at once. I finally realized that I had to start making one small change at a time, then build from there. I learned to walk this holistic journey in a way that works for me and my family, without stress or overwhelm or constantly feeling like I wasn't doing enough. If you're ready to hear from another mama who understands what it's like to have no time and who can help you make changes towards better health for your family in a way that works for your specific life, then this is the podcast for you. Pop in your earbuds, reheat your coffee for the 3rd time, and let's do this. If you are excited about the gardening season, but maybe you don't have any local friends who are excited about gardening along with you, then head over to our free Facebook community and join us there. We would love to hear all about your gardening adventures, your gardening successes, and even your failures. We would love to be able to come alongside you and join you and support you as you learn throughout this journey. You can find us at bit.ly/motherhoodcommunity, and you can also find the link in the show notes below. I hope to see you there. Okay, so I want to start with the fact that I have been there where maybe your budget is tight and you're actually looking to garden in order to save money, but then you start really researching and trying to figure out what you need to get started, and you're realizing that it can add up very quickly, especially as you begin to really expand your garden or try to branch out on the varieties of things that you are planting. It can get expensive pretty quickly. So for me, I just love finding ways to offset those costs where I can. And then I know there are some things I'm going to have to pay for upfront. For instance, I'm willing to pay more upfront for some good quality soil because I know that I'm going to be able to continue using that soil throughout the years. I can refresh it and use it more than 1 year. So I'm willing to pay that higher cost upfront for the soil because it's something that is important to me. I know if I'm going to be planting things in containers, I need good quality soil in order for these plants to actually grow and thrive and be as successful as possible. But for other things, I want to be able to try to save as much money as I possibly can. If I want to spend the money for good quality soil, then I need to save money elsewhere. So I want to share with you today 6 different ways I've found to save money so that I can still continue to grow and expand my garden throughout the years, but not have to spend quite so much money while achieving that goal. Okay, the first thing is going to be, if you have local gardening friends, then ask them if you could do some kind of trade with them, like a bartering type of thing, basically. You could trade for different kind of flower bulbs. You could also trade for plant starts or like elderberry cuttings, any kinds of strawberry plants, blackberry cuttings, anything like that. You know, especially when you're looking at things like elderberry and different kinds of fruit tree or a blackberry, a strawberry. Those can be a little bit more expensive as you're looking to get started. So if you can find ways to save money on those kind of more expensive items, that's a way that you can quickly save a good amount of money. And maybe you're like, well, that sounds nice and all, but I don't really have any kind of plant type of thing to offer them in return for this trade. It may not be that you offer them plants. Maybe you have extra seeds that you would like to offer them that they haven't tried those types of varieties and they're willing to trade you for that. Maybe you make some wonderful jam or an amazing pie or delicious fresh home-baked bread or just whatever it is you have available. There are different things. We all have our own skill sets. Maybe like me, you have homemade soap that you could trade out for. It doesn't have to be a trade of like a plant for a plant. It could be something else, something that you have a great skill set in and you know you make a good quality product. You're going to have a great thing to offer them in return for also getting something back that you're really wanting to add to your garden, but saving money at the same time. Okay, number 2 would be if you already have quite a bit of seeds. Maybe you have an abundance of green bean seeds. Maybe last year you went wild getting tons of different varieties of green beans, and you are wanting to try some new varieties, but you really don't want to spend the money to buy more seeds, or maybe you're wanting to branch out and now you're wanting to try a bunch of different squash varieties, but you feel guilty because you have all of these other seeds that you haven't planted yet. Then I would encourage you to look into swapping seeds with someone. Maybe this is actually setting up like a community seed swap. Maybe it is you just asking a friend, again, kind of like bartering, but instead you're trading out seeds for seeds. Maybe it's finding an online community. We could do a seed swap in my Facebook group as well. If that's something you guys were interested in doing, just let me know. But maybe it's finding an online community and doing some kind of online seed swap where you mail them seeds and they mail you seeds. That would be a great way to try new varieties of things while also using up some of what you already have and at the same time saving some money. Number 3 would be to check local listings for things. Typically for me, what I do with this is Facebook Marketplace, but if you have other options, I know there are like buy, sell, trade groups, or I don't even know what all of the groups are, but there are different groups that you can get on to check and see for any kind of people selling things locally. Things that I have seen specifically on Facebook Marketplace are things like trees, also plant starts. I have seen flower bulbs. I have even seen like berry bushes and things like that. And what I have noticed is typically you can find them at a much cheaper price than you would pay if you're going to like a traditional garden store. Buying them online, anything like that, you're usually going to find a much better deal. So if you're really wanting to branch out and start planting some fruit trees, or maybe like me, you felt super behind on the gardening season this year and you didn't get all of your plants started from seed and you're needing to buy a bunch of plant starts, but you know it will be very expensive to go to like a local greenhouse and get everything you want, then maybe you could find some plant starts from someone and get a deal there. And the wonderful thing about this is you're supporting that other gardener who is most likely selling the stuff to kind of recoup some of the costs they have spent on their garden. So you're supporting them and also getting a good deal at the same time. And I really feel like that's a win-win for everyone. Number 4 would be to start as much on your own as possible. And like I mentioned earlier, this is something that I did not do well this year. We were so busy. We just have had a lot going on, and I just did not get to start my seeds soon enough. And then it was like once everything had kind of died down and I felt like I actually had the time for the stuff that I wanted to start, like peppers and things like that, it was just too late. And so pepper plants that I really wanted to grow this year that I'm just not going to be able to grow because I needed to start them from seed. They're, rare varieties because that's what I enjoy growing. So I can't just go to a local store and pick up starts for those. And unfortunately, it is what it is. But so I say this with also, while at the same time also saying I understand that it's not always possible to start as much as you can on your own, because I'm experiencing that right now and just having to make do with what I can get and what I still have time to start. But when it is possible, start as much as you can on your own. Like I mentioned in not last week's episode, but the week before, this could be like starting sweet potato slips for a fraction of the cost. If you can start any kinds of seeds, as far as like your fruits and vegetables, I also highly recommend if you can plant your own flowers, especially from seed. If you're like me, I am a lover of flowers. I honestly love growing flowers as much, if not more, than I love growing vegetables. They just bring me so much joy. They make my heart happy. If you're like me and you're a flower lover, if you can start as much of your flowers from seed as possible, you can save a huge, huge amount of money. Another thing I really like to do is I love to plant perennial bulbs, flower bulbs that I'll get from like Walmart or somewhere like that. I love perennials because I do the work of planting the bulb the first year, and then after that it just keeps coming back. And my favorite thing to do, especially this time of year, is to go check out Walmart and see when they will start clearancing out those bulbs. And when they start clearancing them out, that's typically when I will buy more, and then I will just go ahead and get them planted for the year. I will also do this in the fall to plant, to overwinter, to bloom in the spring. And I love to do this with plant starts. So my favorite thing to do is to go check out the clearance section at local stores like Walmart and see the plants that are not doing as great and just get them at a fraction. Like I found one the other day. It was like, goodness, I think it was like $15 off of a plant. I got it for $5. And overall, the plant looked okay. It needed a little bit of nurturing, but it was not a big deal at all. I wouldn't recommend getting things that look basically dead, but you can find plants that have been clearanced out that just need a little bit of watering and a little bit of extra care, and they will be good to go. Starting as much as you can from seed as possible, looking for those good deals whenever possible as well. If you're looking for things like elderberry cuttings or even like a blackberry bush or something like that, even fruit trees I've found, Etsy is a great place to check. Again, if you don't have the local community, you're not really finding anyone local, check on Etsy, because you're going to find these farms that are selling their different products for a fraction of the cost. Like I think last year I bought 5 elderberry cuttings, and I want to say I paid less than $10 for them. Now, for me to buy an elderberry plug from a online place, which I actually did this year, I think on sale, I paid $13 for one. So it really can add up as far as the savings goes. So checking things like Etsy, I think, is another great place to look. Number 5 is to wait. This kind of touches on that clearance thing, but not in the same way that I was talking about earlier. But I recommend waiting until later in the summer to buy seeds for next year. Typically, places like MI Gardener, Botanical Interest, they will have a sale on their current year's seeds later in the summer. And what I like to do, I usually can find the seeds. It depends on what you're buying, of course, but anywhere from $1 to $2 a pack. And I will just go ahead and plan, okay, what am I needing? I kind of take inventory of the seeds I currently have, and I will say, okay, what am I planting for the fall? What do I need to fill in? What's missing? And then what am I hoping to plant next spring? And I will go ahead and I will, as much as I can purchase while it is on sale, I will go ahead and purchase all of that stuff. I also recommend checking clearance, like Home Depot and places like that will clearance out like their fertilizers, their organic fertilizers, and even like their mulch, like their cedar mulch and stuff like that. Often they will drop it on sale more towards the fall. But just keep looking for those clearance out sales, and then remember that you can use them. If you're going to garden in the fall, you can use this stuff in the fall. You can also use it next spring. The wonderful thing about seeds are that they will last up to 5 years. Now, as time goes on, the germination rate will go down. So typically, if I have seeds that are a little bit older, instead of just planting like one seed in the hole, I would just plant maybe 2 or 3, just in case the germination rate has gone down. But you can still use those seeds. They're still going to be perfectly fine. You're still going to be able, most likely, to grow plants from them, especially if you're buying this year and planning to use next spring. And that's a great way. For me, I love doing that. Like maybe there's a new variety or a new plant, a new crop that I'm really interested in growing. I love trying to find them on sale like that, because it feels like less of an investment, just in case, something comes up and I don't end up getting to read enough on it to figure out how to plant it the next year, or it fails or whatever. I feel like it's less of a risk and less of an investment, and it just makes me a little bit more open to trying new things whenever I can really find a good deal like that. Number 6, and this is our last one, and this is to check your local nursery for free or discounted pots to grow in. So if you are trying to work on a backyard garden like most of us are here, and you are limited on space, you might be looking to grow in containers. And I know containers can be very expensive. And what I have found to be very helpful is I have a local nursery just, like a mile up the road from me. And I went by and I just asked them, because a lot of times you can find they'll have those really big, heavy duty nursery pots that they get, like they have trees in and stuff like that. And I just asked them, do you sell your used pots? Because my thought was, I can either go on Amazon and pay a very large amount of money for these heavy duty big pots, or hopefully I can buy them from the nursery at a discounted price. And the lady actually said, no, we actually just give them away for free. There's a whole pile over there. Go ahead, help yourself, look through whatever you need. And if you don't find what you need over in that pile, come back over and tell me, because most likely I have it around here somewhere. So I walked over there and found some of the really good quality, like thick, heavy duty plastic, big, I would say they were probably 10 to 15 gallon pots. And I just got them completely free. I was needing something to grow elderberry and blackberry and what else? I can't remember. There was something else, because my focus this year has really been on berry plants and berry bushes. And I really didn't want to pay the cost at Amazon. And so I was able to snag those for free. Now, again, your nursery might say they don't have them, or they might say, yeah, you can get them at a fraction of the cost. You're always going to want to check the prices to make sure that you are getting a good deal if you need to buy them from a local nursery. But I would say the chances are very good that they're just going to give those to you for free. Like my local nursery said, they want to try to recycle those pots as much as possible. They don't want them just going into a landfill. And so they were more than happy to give them to me for free. And now I have a very, very good sized pots that my berry bushes are going to be able to grow in for a long period of time. And I was not out any money at all for that. So I hope this has been helpful for you. If you have a favorite way that you have found to save money in your gardening journey, then please head over to our free Facebook community and share with us there. I'm a very thrifty person. I always love finding new ways to save money and also just really get to enjoy the hobby and passion of gardening while also making sure I'm being financially responsible with doing it. So you can find us at bit.ly/motherhoodcommunity. Head over there, share with us what your favorite way is to save money, and I will see you guys back next week. Hey Mama, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds to share this with a friend who is wanting to live more holistically without the overwhelm? Also, don't forget to head over to Apple Podcasts to leave me a review. It blesses and encourages me to know that this show is helping you. All right, friends, it's time for me to go work in the garden and make some homemade bone broth. I will see you back next week.